All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Chakwadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, honors and salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing this word in true sincerity. Or this is the brother Tawab Bakah from GMS Los Angeles / Inland Empire, coming back with another video on spirit. And once again, Tawab Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, for opening the mind to this truth. Allow me to wake up another day and putting the spirit on me to do another lesson in the hopes that I find the hopeful elect. Okay, so I'm gonna title this video, the gravy train is over. Okay, and I'm referring to, mainly our people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and you Native Americans. Even though you have these other nations, they're receiving these benefits as well, but it's primarily our people. Like I said, I'm focused on the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, okay? And I'm referring to that, the welfare, okay? As you can see, there's a couple days from now that November 1st, they're going to cut off, people's benefits are going to be cut off, okay? That's what they're saying, okay? And lots of our people have been dependent upon this federal, there's these different federal programs, these government programs, I should say, SNAP, WIC, EBT cards, general relief, which is short GR, to get these cash aid. All that stuff is coming to an end. As far as, as what we know it in this current system, and, we always speculate that, they could use that as justification to present that CHIP, you want to continue to receive those benefits, you got to, get the CHIP. The MOTB, which is the mark of the beast, okay? And we know the majority of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you trust in this in Esau society. When I say Esau, I'm referring to the so-called white man. Okay, y'all trust in this American system, which this American system has done nothing but failed you, okay? This system wasn't designed to to uplift you tribes, man. The system was designed to oppress you, okay? And the fact that, many of our people are on these different government assistance, that's scriptural, okay? That's actually scriptural. That's prophecy that we will be nourished in this land. But that's coming to an end now, though. That's coming to an end. And see, this is why, we constantly start with our apostles, elders on down, especially Apostle Tahar, constantly harp on the microchip, the mark of the beast, because that's coming, man. Okay, it's already here. That technology is already here. The chip is already here. It's just a matter of them implementing it and making it mandatory, and we know that third World War III has to come to pass as well, okay, and we can see that those things are on horizon, man. Okay, so with all that being said, Salakia, I didn't mean to be long-winded. I'm just gonna get right into it, and like I said, I pray this is edifying to you sincere brothers as well as you few sisters. So I'm gonna get right into it. The first scripture I'm gonna start with is Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. It says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, they take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin." Right? And the rebellious children is referring to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and you Native Americans, because you're the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. Okay, we're the people that the Lord had made a covenant with, Lord using Moses, to bring forth the law to the nation of Israel, we are those people. Okay, and we have rebelled, against the Lord. That's why we're, on the bottom. That's why we're in the land of our captives. We're held captives in all these different places that we've been scattered. Because we sinned against the Lord. So these curses fell upon us, and one of the curses that fell upon us was we will go to our enemies for the want of all things. One of the many curses. Okay, and that's a major curse. That we have to go to our enemies for one of all things. So you want, you want food, you want shelter, or clothing. We have to go to our enemies. Okay, but like I said, we're coming to a time where all those programs are getting ready to be cut off, man. And the only way for you to receive benefits or payments, like it says in Revelation, the 13th chapter, only way for someone to buy or sell is to receive that mark, that chip. Okay, so we're out here through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. The Lord set his men up to warn you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans not to take that chip. Because if you take that chip, you're going to be destroyed, man. Okay? You're going to be destroyed by those missiles. Okay? Because America's going to be destroyed by thermonuclear missiles. Okay? But before those missiles come, there's going to be a series of plagues that the Lord is going to hit this place with. Okay? There's going to be famine out here. Shortage of food. That's what a famine is. Okay? There's also going to be a famine of the word, hearing the word of the Lord, because Esau, he's already basically pushing that narrative out there of people speaking up against the government. You speaking up against those that are in authority, they're going to, label you a radical, whatever term out there that they're using. They're going to do that to demonize those that are speaking up against this place. Okay? Because you got these whistleblowers out here as well that Esau is keeping his eye on, but it's mainly toward the men of the Lord. Those of us that's, woken up to who we really are and out there preaching the gospel, man. Okay? So that's the time that we're in, man. All right? We get back to Isaiah 30:1. It says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me." And right, and you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you never take counsel of the Lord. Okay, you always take counsel of this world, man. Especially the so-called white man. Okay, that's how you look at this world, through the lens of your oppressor. Wherever the oppressor says that's wherever the standard for this oppressor is, that's what you follow. You totally wholeheartedly subscribe to wherever this oppressor says, and that's why you're out here destroyed, man. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you're through, because you trust in oppression. Okay, it says, but woe to you. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit. Right? You don't cover with the spirit of the Lord. Okay? You cover, like I said, you cover in all these ideologies of Esau and these other nations. Especially mainly Esau, man. Okay? Especially here in America, man. You think. It's trying to set up businesses, or trying to have your own communities, which Jake already did that back in the day. Our people already did those things. Our people already did those. Our people already tried to, so-called set up communities, set up cities and towns, and they did for a while. Jake did, prosper for a bit. It was just a small season, But the Lord didn't bring us here for that. That's why eventually those towns, those cities, those communities were destroyed. Esau, the Lord allowed Esau to go there and destroy those communities, where Jacob was, thriving for a bit, because the Lord didn't bring us here for that, man. This is not our land. This is not our kingdom. This is not our rest. Micah 2:10, okay? It says, but not of my spirit that they may add sin to sin, right? And in turn, you not covering with the covering of the Lord, that leads to the sin, okay? Because you're doing things that's against your power, okay? By you going to these harlot houses, right? These Christian churches, these Baptist churches, okay, these Catholic churches, okay, you're sinning, because the churches teach you that the law is done away with, which that's not true. The law is not done away with, man. Okay. Now, of course, we're not able to keep the entire law, that's written in these scriptures, but there are laws that are within our control, that we can keep, that we can honor towards the Lord. For example, the Sabbath. We keep the Sabbath to the best of our ability. Now, there may be days where, a Sabbath may come in and, brothers may have to work, brothers that work, because we're in captivity. We got to do what we have to do in order to sustain ourselves. So we may have to work, on the Sabbath, which according to the law, we're not supposed to work, but we're in captivity. So we're not in our we're not sovereign here. We don't have a sovereign, for lack of a better word, sovereign life here, man. Okay, we're under oppression, so things like that. We're not under the punishment of not keeping the Sabbath 100%. Okay, we do it to the best of our. That's why I said we do it to the best of our ability. Now, as far as the dietary law, that's a must. Of course, like I said, we do that to our best of our ability, because at the end of the day, we really don't know what the hell, what the hell is in these foods, man. We know they put all these different preservatives, all these different ingredients. So we know not to be over righteous, but as long as you ain't sitting there eating no damn pork chop or eating no bacon, anything that says pork on it, we're not supposed to eat. Okay, we're not supposed to eat shrimp. Okay, we're not supposed to eat lobster, crabs, any fish that doesn't have both fins and scales. We're not supposed to eat. Okay, all right, we're not supposed to commit adultery, meaning sleeping with your brother's wife, your neighbor's wife, okay, or any man's wife. All right, we're not supposed to be worshiping other gods, idols. Okay, you're not supposed to be getting tattoos. You're not supposed to line your head up. You're not supposed to line your beard up. Okay, you're not supposed to shave your beard. You're not supposed to shave your head. Okay, just giving you a few examples, of the laws that we are able to keep. Okay, that we should be keeping. Okay. All right, let me get back to Isaiah chapter 30, verse 2. It says, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh. Right. And majority of our people, this is their mindset. Okay, they don't ask for the Lord to strengthen them. They ask for the oppressor, which is the modern day Pharaoh, is the so-called white man. Okay, just like the Pharaoh of old, of ancient Egypt, oppressed us and made us serve hardcore bondage. Okay, same thing with the so-called white man. Okay, and our people, they look at Esau, the so-called white man, as the end all be all, man. You know, they don't see anything that's greater, that can be greater than this current setup that we're in right now. You know, little do they know, they're sadly mistaken. Okay, because we're at the end of this thing, man. Okay, there's not going to be another, a century here in Babylon. Okay, Babylon's done. This place is unraveling at the seams, man. Okay, look at the presidency. Look at the division in this country, man. It's at an all-time high. Okay, you got people voicing their frustration with, the leadership. The people that's in the high positions. Okay, you got people losing their jobs left and right. Okay, people downsizing. A lot of people are catching hell, man. A lot of people are feeling that squeeze, man. So we coming to that time where, people out here are going to be offing each other, man, for the lack of bread, man. That's 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. Okay, so those of you that continue to trust in this place, that's going to be unto your shame, man. Okay, all right. It says to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. And shadow is just there for a moment, man. That's it. A shadow, because a shadow is it's a protection, it's a covering, but it's only momentarily though. And that's what this place is. This place is temporary, man. Okay. And you niggas thinking this place is you have this mindset this place is gonna go on forever. No, this place is done, man. All right. It says, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Right. See, that's going to be your shame and your confusion, man. Because it's going to sink in, once all hell breaks loose, like really breaks loose, and it's like total lawlessness out here, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are going to come to the realization that all this shit was bullshit, man. You're starting to see it now. Because you got a couple of jakes out there, but it's really gonna kick in when it gets to that next level. When you have people out here, like I said, putting each other to death for the lack of food, man. Okay, people are gonna resort to cannibalism, man. People are gonna be out here eating other people. Okay, that's how bad it's gonna get. That's how bad the famine is gonna be, man. And once again, the word famine is just a shortage. It doesn't mean it's gonna be no food, like no food out here, but it's gonna be scarce. So that's the times that we, like I said, we're coming to. All right, this is Isaiah chapter 31, verse 1. It says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many. Right, because our people trust Esau's power structure. They trust in it, because Esau got all these armies. They think America's going to bounce back. Okay, and America's not going to bounce back. Okay, like I said, this is it. Okay, America already had their peak. They already had their the what's the word I'm looking for? They already had their prime, so to speak, their prime time. Okay, that was basically in the 50s, man, the 40s and 50s. Okay, that's where Esau was at, his height as far as America. All right, but now we're at the latter end of the decline of Esau's rulership, man. Okay, it says, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai. Right, you see, our people don't seek the Lord. You see, because like I read in Isaiah the 30th chapter, they take a covering, not the Lord's Spirit. They take on another covering, man. Okay, like I said, they subscribe to the way of the so-called white man's thinking. How Esau looks at things, that's how, you know, the majority of our people look at things. You know, if Esau ain't say it, if Esau ain't say it, then Jake doesn't really care, you know. But when they see their own say something, you know, they got a problem with it. That's why 2/3 of our people, they're gonna be destroyed, because they're a bunch of goddamn fools, man. Okay. All right, he says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not to the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. Yet he is also wise and will bring evil, and will not call back his words, but will rise against the house of the evildoers. Right, and the Lord is going to bring evil. He's going to bring bad times, man. He's going to rise against all you that do evil, man. It says, and against the help of them that work iniquity. You see that? So all you Jakes that continue to be in this stupefied state and trusting in your oppressor, you know, and coming up against the Lord's men, you're going to be destroyed. Plain and simple. You Jakes that mock this truth, think this thing is a game, the joke is on you. Like it says in Proverbs, the Lord gonna mock when your fear come, man. He gonna mock your black ass and your Hispanic ass, man, or you Native American ass, man. Okay, he gonna mock you. All right, it says, now the Egyptians are men and not the Most High, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that hoping shall fall down, and they shall fall, and they all shall fail together. You see that? So those of you that want to join hand in hand with this devil, join hand in hand with this shit, you're going to be destroyed. You're going to fall right along with it, man. Okay? So like I said, the gravy train is over. Okay? Them times of you know, having those benefits, you know, and being in that complacent spirit, that shit is done, man. The Lord's putting an end to that, man. Okay? And all praise Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai for that, man, because you niggas done got too comfortable here, man. Okay? Now the Lord, like the Lord is about to cut all that shit off, man. He about to make you niggas feel, he about to make it very uncomfortable here, man. Okay? All right, I'm going to bring out one more and I'm going to wrap it up. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 9. It says, then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. Okay? So all you, even those of you that know you're Israelites, man, those of you that sold out, okay, you out there teaching lies, okay, the Lord gonna torment your ass, man. And you 2/3 out there, you ones of you that don't know, okay, you just out there being a wicked ass nigga. You gonna die grievous deaths, man. All right, it says, for such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me. You see that? Those of you that receive benefits, okay, those benefits are getting ready to get cut off, man. All right. It says, and they that have loathed my law while they yet had liberty, and when yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. The same must know it after death by pain. Plain and simple, man. Okay? Because the place of repentance is talking about now. You know, Isaiah 55th chapter, man. Seek ye the Lord while the Lord may be found. That's talking about his men out there on the highways and byways preaching his gospel. You know, we also put shows up too. We put lessons up during the week. You know, but like this is really only for the elect anyway. You know, majority, we already know the majority of our people, they're not gonna come back to this. You know, we already know that. And we hope the Lord have mercy upon us. We hope the Lord keep the spirit upon us to, you know, to continue to push this word and continue to that believe upon the names of Yahweh Shem Shai and continue in the faith until the very end. Lord willing, we will see those crowns from our Lord Yahweh Shai. Okay. But those that have rejected this truth, turned their back on the truth, they refuse to hear this word and take heed to the Lord's word through his men. Like it says, they're gonna die. They're gonna experience death by pain. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So with that, I'm gonna wrap it up. Give all glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Chakodash. The honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Honors and salutations to the hopeful elect. Push his word, truth, sincerity. I'm gonna say shalom, shalom, shalom.